So now we shall see how an LPP can be solved by solving its dual problem. Let's take an example. Minimize z equals to 10x1 plus 2x2 subject to x1 plus 2x2 plus 2x3 greater than equal to 1. x1 minus 2x3 greater than equal to minus 1. Or rather, it is given that minus x1 plus 2x3 less equal to 1. And the third constraint is x1 minus x2 plus 3x3 greater than equal to 3. And all the variables x1, x2, x3 are non-negative. So this is our primal problem. We denote it by P. Now we'll find the dual of this problem and then we'll solve both the problems to see how their solutions are related to each other. The objective function is in the minimization form and the constraints are in mixed form. Two constraints are of greater than equal to type and one constraint is less than equal to type. So first we convert the problem into a minimization symmetric form, that is, we convert all the constraints into greater than equal to type. We have no problem with the first constraint, it will remain as it is, x1 plus 2x2 plus 2x3 greater than equal to 1, and the second constraint is to be converted into a greater than equal to type inequality. So we multiply both sides of the inequality by minus 1 to get x1 minus 2x3 greater than equal to minus 1, and the last one will also remain as it is since it is a greater than equal to type inequality already given. So it will be x1 minus x2 plus 3x3 greater than equal to 3, and the variables x1, x2, x3 are all non-negative. So we have got the problem into the form minimize z equals to cx subject to ax greater than equal to b x greater than equal to 0, where C is the cost vector given by (10), 2 and 0, since there is no term of x3 in the objective function, and we take all the vectors as column vectors. Then the coefficient matrix A 1 2 2 1 0 minus 2 1 minus 1 3, and the requirement vector B is the right hand side vector 1 minus 1 3, and obviously x equal to x1 x2 x3, and it is non-negative. So we get the primal problem in the form: minimize z equals to cx subject to x greater than equal to b, x greater than equal to 0. That is in the minimization symmetric form. It is in the minimization symmetric form. Now we have to find the dual of this problem. As we know, the dual of minimization symmetric form will be of the form maximization symmetric, and that will be given by maximize W equals to BTV subject to ATV less than equal to CT, V greater than equal to 0. This form is known as maximization symmetric form, and if this is the primal problem, the first one, minimization symmetric form, then its dual will be in the maximization symmetric form, and vice versa. That is, its dual is this one, and the opposite is also true. The dual of the second problem is the first one. Now we replace the values of A, B, C in the last problem, so that we get the dual problem as maximize W equals to BT 1 minus 1 3. So if we take V equals to V1 V2 V3, then it is V1 minus V2 plus 3 V3, then ATV less equal to CT, that is the first column of A will now give you the first constraint of the dual problem. So it will be V1 plus V2 plus V3 less equal to 10. Similarly, we will get the other two constraints as 2V1 minus V3 less equal to 2 and 2V1 minus 2V2 plus 3V3 less equal to 0, V1, V2, V3 greater than equal to 0. So this is our dual problem. So the primal is given and we are getting the dual as the last problem. Now we will solve both the problems independently. Let's take the primal problem once again. And we convert it to standard form by introducing slack and surplus variables. As we see, the first constraint is greater than equal to type, so here we will be needing a surplus variable and an artificial variable. The second constraint is less than equal to type, so we will be needing a slack variable, and the third one is also a greater than equal to type inequality, so here also we will be requiring a surplus variable and artificial variable. So we have to introduce 5 more variables, and I'm sorry, in the primal problem it has been written as x2, it will be x3 indeed. So in the primal problem there was initially 3 variables and we have to introduce 5 more variables, so we will have 8 variables in total, and the primal problem can be written in standard form as what we will be writing now. And one thing we have to follow, that the objective function of the primal problem is minimization type, so we have to convert it to maximization type by multiplying the objective function by -1, and thus we have the primal problem. Maximize z dash, I write, equals to minus 10x1 minus 2x2 minus 10x1 minus 2x2, and no other variables will be there. I mean no slack and surplus variables will be there in the objective function, but the artificial variables will have the cost minus m in the objective function. So plus 0 x3 plus 0 x4, this is our first surplus variable, minus m x5, first artificial variable, plus 0 x6, first slack variable, plus 0 x7, second surplus variable, minus m x8, second artificial variable. subject to the constraints x1 plus 2x2 plus 2x3, x1 plus 2x2 plus 2x3 minus x4 plus x5 equal to 1. You see, we have introduced surplus variable x4, what we have subtracted, and we have taken an artificial variable x5, what we have added to the constraint on the left hand side to make it an equality. The next is minus x1 plus 2x3 plus slack variable x6. Minus x1 plus 2x3 plus slack variable x6, that is equal to 1 also. And the third constant is x1 minus x2 plus 3x3, x1 minus x2 plus 3x3, and it was a greater than equal to type inequality. So here also we have to introduce surplus variable x7, which we will subtract, and to introduce the artificial variable x8, what we will have to add to make it an equality. So it will be equal to 3, and all the variables x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, x7, x8 will be non-negative. Now we start the simplex table. In the first column we will take the basic variables, we denote by VB. Then we take the cost of the basic variables, we denote it by CB, and the requirement vector B will be here. Basically it will be B inverse B, where B is the basis matrix, and we take y1, y2, y3, y4, y5, y6, y7, y8 corresponding to the 8 columns of the standardized problem. Here each y is given by yi equals to B inverse AI, where AI are the columns of the coefficient matrix A, that is AI is the coefficient of the variable xi, and B is the basis matrix. What is basis matrix we will see now. So we put all the things in the first table. First we put the coefficient matrix 1, 2, 2, -1, 1, 0, 0, 0. -1 0 2 0 0 1 0 0 1 -1 3 0 0 0 -1 1, and next we put the right hand side vector 1 1 3. Now we have to put the cost coefficients in the objective function. Those are -10 for x1, -2 for x2, 0 for x3, 0 for x4, -m for x5, 0 for x6, 0 for x7, and -m for x8, and the last column is for minimum ratio. Here we see that the columns y5, y5, y6 and y8 forms the standard basis. This one and this one forms the standard basis. So their corresponding variables x5, x6 and x8 will be in the initial basis. So we take x5, x6 and x8 in the initial basis, and this is to be ordered. That is, we cannot take x6 then x5 then x8. We cannot take it. We have to take in this order x5, x6, x8, because the corresponding vectors y5, y6, y8 remains in that order in the standard basis. Now, what are the costs of the basic variables x5, x6 and x8? We see cost of x5 is -m, cost of x6 is 0, and cost of x8 is -m. Now we calculate zj minus cj's. Zj minus Cj is calculated as Cbi Yij to be taken as the sum over all I, then to subtract the corresponding cost. So for the variable x1, that is in the column y1, we are getting -m into 1 plus 0 into -1 plus -m into 1, that is -2m plus 10. So we are getting -2m plus 10 for the first column. In the second column we are getting minus twice m plus m, that is -m plus 2, -m plus 2. Then we are getting -2m minus 3m, that is -5m. Then it is m, it is 0, 0, it is m, and it is 0. We have to notice that the value of zj minus cj corresponding to the basic variable columns are always 0. Now m is a very large number, so when we will compare the values of the zj minus cj, coefficient of m will play the most important role. As we see, minus twice m plus 10, minus m plus 2 and minus 5m are there having negative values. Among these three, minus 5m will be most negative. So we will take x3 as the new incoming variable. and we have to determine which one will leave the basis. That is to be determined by taking the ratios obtained by dividing b, that is the corresponding component of b, by the corresponding component of y3. So here in the first row the ratio is 1 by 2, in the second row the ratio is 1 by 2, and in the third row the ratio is 3 by 3, that is equal to 1. We see there are two hubs, that is there is a tie, and when we will be deciding which one will leave the basis, we will try to get the artificial variable removed as early as possible. So we will choose x5 as the departing variable, and x3 as the entering variable in the next table, so that this one will become the key element. And as we know, our aim will be to make the key element 1 in the next iteration of the simplex table. So we divide the first row throughout by 2 and get the new values as 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1, 1, minus 1 by and 0. And better we should write the new basic variables and their cost earlier. So x5 will depart the basis and x3 will come into the basis in place of x5. So we will have x3, x6 and x8 as the new basic variables, and their costs will be respectively 0, 0 and minus m. We have already got the transformed first row. Then our aim will be to make the elements below the key elements as 0. So we just subtract the first row from the second row of the first table to get the 2 below the key element as 0, as 0, minus 2, minus 2, 0, 1, minus 1, 1, 0, 0. And to make the third element below the key element as 0, we multiply the transform first row by 3 and subtract it from the third row. So we will get 3 minus 3 by 2, that is 3 by 2, 1 minus 3 by 2, that is minus half, minus 1 minus 3. One minus 3 by 2 is minus half, yes. Then minus 1 minus 3 by 2, it is minus 5 by 2, it is 0, it will be 3 by 2, it will be minus 3, it will be 0, it will be minus 1 and it is 1. Again we calculate z minus cz as earlier. it is m by 2 plus 10. It is 5m by 2 plus 2. It is 0. It is minus 3m by 2. It is m. It is 0. It is m and it is 0. Here also we see there is a negative component in zj minus cj. So x4 will come into the basis now, and we have to decide the departing variable. As we see in the column of y4, the first component is negative, so we leave the first ratio. The second ratio is 0 by 1, that is 0, and the third ratio is 1, minimum is 1, so 0 corresponds to the variable x6 and it will leave the basis, and 1 is the new key element. We proceed to the next table. So the new basic variables are x3, x4 and x8 with the cost 0, 0 and minus m. 0, 0 and minus m. As we see, the key element is 1 itself, so we don't have to do anything with the second row. It will remain as it is. 0, minus 2, minus 2, 0, 1, minus 1, 1, 0 and 0. To make the element above and below the key element 0, we multiply the key row with half and add to the first row, so it becomes half half minus 1 is minus half, 1 minus 1 it is 0, it will remain 1, it is 0, it is 1 minus half, that is half, 0 plus half is half, 0 and 0. And for the third row, we multiply the key row by 3 by 2 and subtract from the third row to get 3 by 2 minus half plus 3, minus half plus 3, so it will be 5 by 2 minus 5 by 2 plus 3, so it will be half, it will be 0, it will be 0, minus 3 plus 3 by 2, it will be minus 3 by 2, it will be 0 minus 3 by 2, so minus 3 by 2, it will remain minus 1 and 1, Now we calculate the Zj minus Cj's again. Zj minus Cj. It will be minus 5 by 2 plus 10, minus 5m by 2 plus 10, minus 5m by 2 plus 10. It will be minus m by 2 plus 2, minus m by 2 plus 2. It will be 0. It will be 0. It will be 3m by 2. The next will be 3m by 2 plus m, that is 5m by 2. Next will be 0, sorry, it will be m, and the last one will be 0. Here also we see that there are again two negative Zj minus Cj's, and between them the first one is the most negative since its coefficient is larger. So this time x1 will become the entering variable in the basis, and to determine the departing variable we have to calculate the ratios, but we see here the element corresponding row in the corresponding row is negative, so we leave this ratio. Then we leave the second ratio also, as it is also negative, and we get only the third ratio, that is 3 by 5. So we have no other option than choosing x8 as the departing variable, and so 5 by 2 is the new key element. Now we proceed to the next table. So x3, x4 and x1 are the new basic variables with their cost 0, 0 and minus 10. 0, 0 and minus 10. Now we make the key element 1 by multiplying 2 by 5 to each element in the third row. So it becomes 3 by 5, 1, 1 by 5, 0, 0, minus 3 by 5, minus 3 by 5, minus 2 by 5 and 2 by 5 in the third row. Now to make the element above the key elements 0, we do the row operations suitably to get 0 plus 2 into 3 by 5, so it will be 6 by 5. It will be 0 minus 2 plus 2 by 5, minus 2 plus 2 by 5, that is minus 2 let's do the calculation here. Minus 2 plus 2 by 5, so it is minus 8 by 5. Then it will be 0, it will be 1, it will be minus 1 plus, where is it, 2 times minus 3 by 5, 2 times minus 3 by 5, that is minus 1 minus 6 by 5, so minus 11 by 5, and this one will be 1 minus 6 by 5, so it will be minus 1 by 5. This will be 0 minus 4 by 5, so it will be minus 4 by 5, and finally this will be 0 plus 4 by 5, so it is 4 by 5. Okay. Now to transform the first row, multiply the transformed third row with half and add, so it will be half plus 3 by 10, half plus 3 by 10 is 8 by 10, that is 4 by 5. It will be 0, it will be 1 by 10, it will be 1, it will be 0, it will be half minus 3 by 10, half minus 3 by 10, it is 5 by 10 minus 3 by 10, that is 1 by 5. I think some mistake has been done at the place of 1 by 10. It is, no, it's okay. That is half plus 3 by 10. Oh, both are same. Half minus 3 by 10. Half minus 3 by 10 is 5 by 10 minus 3 by 10, that is 1 by 5. It is also 1 by 5, then it will be minus 1 by 5, and finally it is 1 by 5. Okay, so we calculate the Zj minus Cjs again. It will be 0, it will be minus 2 minus of minus 2, it's also becoming 0. This is 0, this is 0, this is this is 6, and one thing we can do, what we haven't done, we can drop the columns corresponding to artificial variables once they leave the basis. However, we haven't done so far yet, so we continue. The next one is y5. Whose column we have written? So here it will be plus m. It will be 6. It will be 4, and it will be m minus 4. Yes. Now all the zj minus cj's are non-negative, so we have reached to the optimality condition, and the optimal solution is given by x1 star equals to 3 by 5. x2 is not in the basis, so x2 equals to 0, and whether x2 star and x3 star also equal to 0 is the optimal solution. And what was our objective? Our objective was to find the minimum value of 10x1 plus 2x2. That is, we converted it to minus 10x1 minus 2x2. So z mean, which is nothing but minus z dash max, that is equal to 10 times 3 by 5, that is 6. Okay. Now we solve the dual problem. In the dual problem, all the three inequalities are of less than equal to type, so we just have to add 3 slack variables. So we get the standardized problem as max w equals to v1 minus v2 plus 3v3 max w equal to v1 minus v2 plus 3v3 plus 0 v4 plus 0 v5 plus 0 v6, where v4 v5 v6 are 3 slack variables which we will introduce to the 3 less equal to type inequalities in the dual problem D. The first constant is v1 plus v2 plus v3 plus v4 equal to 10. v1 plus v2 plus v3 plus v4 equals to 10. The second constraint will be 2v1 minus v3 plus v5 equal to 2. 2v1 minus v3 plus v5 equals to 2, and the third one will be 2v1 minus 2v2 plus 3v3 plus v6 equal to 0. Two v1 minus 2v2 plus 3v3 plus v6 equal to 0. It is v5. and I write it by shifting a bit to maintain the column structure. Yes, this one, where all the variables v1, v2, v3, v4, v5, v6 greater than equal to 0. So the last constant is 2v1 minus 2v2 plus 3v3 plus v6 equal to 0. Yes, it's okay. Now we go on constructing the simplex table for the dual problem as earlier. The first column is VB, the basic variables, then cost of basic variables, this is B, and these are Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4, Y5, Y6, and the last column is for minimum ratio. So we first put the coefficient matrix into the table and the requirement vector B. It is 10, 2, 0, and the coefficient matrix is 1, 2, 2 in the first column, 1, 0, minus 2 in the second column, 1, minus 1, 3 in the third column, then 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and 0, 0, 1. And we see that the columns Y4, Y5, Y6 forms the standard basis. So their corresponding variable X4, X5, and X6 will form the initial basis. And what are the costs of the variables in the objective function? Those are 1, minus 1, 3, 0, 0, 0. So the cost of x4, x5, x6 in the objective function are 0, 0, 0. Now we calculate zj minus cj's. This is minus 1, this is plus 1, this is minus 3, and these are 0. And we see minus 3 is the most negative zj minus cj, so x3 will be the next incoming variable. And to determine the outgoing variable, we have to find the ratios 10 by 1, 10 by 1 equals to 10, then it is negative, we won't count, and the third one is 0 by 3, that is 0. So the last one, that is x6, will leave the basis and x3 will enter into the basis, and 3 is the key element. We go to the next table. By taking x4, x5 and x3 as the basic variables. Sorry, these were v. I am doing something wrong. These were v actually, not x. These were v. Okay. And their costs are respectively 0, 0, and for V3 it is 3. So we divide the third row by 3 throughout to to get 0, 2 by 3 minus 2 by 3, 1, 0, 0, 1 by 3, and then I add this transform third row to the second row to get 2, 1 plus 2 third is 5 by 3, 0 minus 2 third is minus 2 third, it is 0, it is 0, 1, and it is 0 plus 1 third is 1 third. And for the first row I have to subtract 10 minus 0 is 10, 1 minus 2 third is 1 third, 1 minus 2 third, that is 1 plus 2 third is 5 by 3, it is 0, it will be 1, it will be 0, and it will be 0 minus 1 third, that is minus 1 third. Next we calculate Zj minus Cj's. So it is 2 minus 1, that is 1, minus 2 plus 1, minus 1, it is 0, 0, 0, and it is 1. So there is one more negative Zj minus Cj there. So V2 will be the next incoming variable, and to determine the outgoing variable we have no option other than choosing V4, because these two ratios cannot be considered as their corresponding elements are negative, and the value is in fact 30 by 5, that is 6. So V4 will leave the basis to make room for the variable V2, and 5 by 3 is the new key element. We go to the next table. V2, V5 and V3, their costs are respectively minus 1, 0, 3, and these values will be 10 into 3 by 5, that is 6, it is 1/3 into 3 by 5, that is 1 by 5, it is 1, 0, 3 by 5, 0, minus 1 by 5. Then 2 plus 2/3 into 6, 2 plus 2/3 into 6, it is how much? 2/3 into 6 is 4, plus 2, it is 6. Then 5 by 3 plus 2/3 into 1 by 5, so it is 28 by 15, is it? Five by 3 plus, I am to multiply the first transformed row with 2/3 and add to the second row. Yes, 5/3 plus 2/3 into 1 by 5, so it is 2 by 15, and it is it is 25 by 15, so 27 by 15. 27 by 15 is 9 by 5. Yes, it's 9 by 5. It will be 0. It will be 0. It will be 2/3 into 3 by 5. That is 2 by 5. It is 1, and the last one will be 1/3 plus 2/3 into minus 1 by 5. That is 1/3 minus 2 by 15. 5 by 15 minus 5 by 15 minus 2 by 15. Check once again. Whenever an unusual quotient is coming, we have to be careful. Yes, 1/3 plus 2/3 into minus 1 by 5. Yes, it's correct. 5 by 15 minus 2 by 15, so it is 3 by 15. Okay, now the last row, it will be 0 plus 2/3 into 6. It will be 4. It will be 2/3 plus 2/3 into 1 by 5. 2/3 plus 2/3 into 1 by 5. That is 10 by 15 plus 2 by 15. That is 17 by 15. Then it will be 7 by 15. Yes, 7 by 15. Now it will be what? 0. It will be 1. It will be 0 plus 2/3 into 3 by 5, so it will be 1 by 5. It will be 0, and it is 1/3 plus 2/3 into minus 1 by 5, that is 3 by 15. Okay, now we calculate the Zj minus Cj's. It is 17 by 5 minus 1 by 5, so 16 by 5 minus 1, it is 11 by 5. It is 0, it is 0. It is 3 by 5, it is 0, and it is 9 by 15. That is, all the Zj minus Cj's are non-negative now. That is, we have reached the optimality condition, and the optimal solution is given by V1 star equal to 0, since that is not in the basis. V2 star is equals to 6. V3 star equals to 4. And although V5 is in the basis, V5 was not a decision variable. It was a slack variable, so we want to count it. And W max is what? V1 minus V2 plus 3V3. So 0 minus V2 is minus 6 plus 3V3 is 12, that is equals to 6. What we see here, the optimal value of the objective function in the primal problem was 6, and we are getting the same optimal value in the dual problem also. Not only the optimal values, we can find the solution of one of the primal problem from the other. That is, we can find the solution of the primal from the dual and the solution of the dual from the primal. We see here what are the Zj minus Cj values of the surplus variables in the primal problem. The surplus variables were x4 and x7. So their corresponding Zj minus Cj values were, not only that, we have to consider the slack variable also. Yes, we will leave only the artificial variables. We will consider slack and surplus variables. In the primal problem, there were two artificial variables, x5 and x8, and three other variables, that is two surplus variables and one slack variable. x4 and x7 are surplus variable and x6 is a slack variable. So we see the value of the Zj minus Cj's corresponding to these three variables, x4, x6 and x7, that is z4 minus c4, z4 minus c4, this one, z6 minus c6, this one, and z7 minus c7, this one, 0, 6, 4. And you see these are the solution of the dual problem. That is, the slack or surplus variable introduced in the first constraint corresponds to the first variable in the dual problem, and the optimal solution can be obtained from the value of the Zj minus Cj in the corresponding column. Okay, and what about the dual? Some mistakes are there. You see, x3 is in the basis and its value is 4 by 5, so x3 star will not be 0, it will be 4 by 5. But it was not in the objective function. Is it or not? Yes, its cost is 0, that is, it was not present in the objective function. So the objective value will be minus 10 times 3 by 5 minus 2 times 0 plus 0 times 4 by 5, so it will be 6. So the values of the decision variables are 3 by 5, 0 and 4 by 5 in the primal problem. And in the dual problem we see the slack variables we introduced were V4, V5 and V6, and we check the values of the Zj minus Cj's corresponding to their column. In the Y4 column, Zj minus Cj value is 3/4. In the Y5 column, Zj minus Cj value is 0, and in the Y6 column, I think there is also a mistake. 9/15 plus 1/5, it is 4/5. It is 4/5. That is, these three values 3/5, 0 and 4/5 are corresponding to the decision variable in the primal problem. So just by solving one of the primal or the dual problem, we can get the solution of the other. Once again we repeat, from the primal problem, in the primal problem the number of variables were more. There were 8 variables and number of iterations we had to do was 4, and finally we see the values of Zj minus Cj's corresponding to the slacks and surplus variables gave the value of the optimal solution in the dual problem. Those are 0, 6 and 4, and in the dual problem there were 3 slack variables and their corresponding column Zj minus Cj gave the value of the primal problem. Thus, by solving either of the primal or the dual, we can obtain the solution of the other. But one thing we should note here, that this will happen only if both the problems have feasible solutions. If primal and dual both have feasible solutions, then the optimal value of the objective function in both the problems will be same, and the solution of one problem can be obtained from the other. But if one is not feasible, the other will be unbounded, and if one is not having any bounded solution, then the other will have no feasible solution.